Hello scholars, my name is Ms. Cora Garner and I'm one of the English 2 instructors at the DeSoto High School, and welcome to Distance Learning Week 5. So for today's lesson, it comes from the standards E2.5, students understand, make inferences and draw conclusions about the structure and elements of fiction and provide evidence from text to support their understanding. Today's objective, you students will be able to make inferences and draw conclusions about the development of a character and provide evidence from the text to support their understanding. So in so many words, today we're going to be discussing characterization, indirect versus direct, okay? So to further explain, I'm going to show a small clip from the Mean Girls. Take a look.
Watch the following clip from Mean Girls for examples of indirect characterization using the Steele method.
Regina George. How do I even begin to explain Regina George?
Regina George is flawless.
She has 2 Fendi purses and a silver Lexus.
I hear her hair's insured for $10,000.
I hear she does car commercials in Japan.
Her favorite movie is Varsity Blues. One time she met John Stamos on a plane, and he told her she was pretty.
One time she punched me in the face. It was awesome.
In that clip, we used looks, actions, and effect on others to discuss.
Okay, awesome. So I hope you enjoyed watching that small clip. So in that clip, you saw all these different students kind of explain what they think about Regina George and what is really true about Regina George. So the difference there is direct versus indirect characterization. Now to help you understand this a little more, I have an anchor chart I want us to look at. So as we further analyze characterization, I want everyone to look at this particular anchor chart. It says Steele. You may remember Steele from the beginning of the school year. S stands for what the character says. T stands for what the character thinks. E stands for the character's effect on others. A stands for the actions of the character. And L stands for what the character looks like. So let's analyze it even more. The 2 letters S and L. S for says, L for look. Those 2 letters really correlate with direct characterization. When we look at the definition of direct characterization, it is defined by telling the audience what the personality of the character is. When we look at the letters T, E, A, what the character thinks, the effect on others, and actions, that correlates directly with indirect characterization, which is defined as showing things that reveal the personality of a character. If you need to pause the video to write these definitions, feel free to do so. Also, remember Kermit and the T. That'll be a good way to help you remember indirect characterization. So now we're at the model activity. Today we're going to read the shipping news. This lesson will give you a good idea of how to develop characters for your end-of-year short story assignment. If some of you are wondering about this end-of-year short story assignment, no need to worry. There'll be more instructions on that coming soon, but just know that each of these virtual lessons will help you with that particular task. I'm going to show you how to find an excerpt from the shipping news. So from Google Classroom, underneath Stream, you're going to scroll down and you're going to find the shipping news PDF. You're going to click on it, read it, and then return back to this video. So now that you know how to access the shipping news, we're going to pause for the calls, and I want you to take 7 minutes to read the text and then return to this video. Your time starts now. And we're back. I hope you enjoyed reading the shipping news just as much as I did, because now I'm going to model. I'm going to choose a scene from the shipping news and actually talk you through how the author uses direct characterization. So this particular scene comes from paragraph 7. If you'd like to go back to paragraph 7 and follow along with me, or you can just watch the screen. A great damp loaf of a body. At 6, he weighed 80 pounds. At 16, he was buried under a casement of flesh. Head shaped like a Crenshaw, no neck, reddish hair, ruched back. Features as bunched as kiss fingertips. Eyes the color of plastic. The monstrous chin, a freakish shelf jutting from the lower face. So when we talk about explanation of characterization, let's look at the phrase, a great damp loaf. Let's also look at the phrase, weighed 80 pounds. Also, buried under a casement of flesh. all of these specific phrases revealed that our protagonist was a large man. When it talks about his monstrous chin, this shows how he was considered less appealing than a normal person. These are all examples of direct characterization. Now let's do some guided practice. At this time, I want you to choose another scene that shows either direct or indirect characterization. I want you to pause for the cause and complete. When you're done, return to this video. And we're back. I hope that you were able to find a scene from the text that showed direct or indirect characterization. I actually picked the scene from paragraph 10. Feel free to follow along with me. At the university, he took courses he couldn't understand, humped back and forth without speaking to anyone, went home for weekends of exoration. At last, he dropped out of school and looked for a job, kept his hand over his chin. So let's talk about the explanation of characterization here. So in this particular scene, he was really trying to be better than his father and become less of an introvert. This shows Quoyle's insecurities with himself and his interactions with others. He kept his hand over his chin to represent his journey to figure out who he is. Indirect characterization is implied through what the author writes here. Now, it's time for your favorite section, the collaborative practice, where you engage in discussion posts with your peers regarding this text. Let me show you how to get there. So from Google Classroom, underneath Stream, you're going to scroll down until you see the discussion questions. When you see the discussion questions, you're going to respond to the question that is asked. When you respond, you're going to add the class comment here. You're going to press the post button. And then check back on this discussion board because you need to respond to at least one or more students. Great. So now it's time for the independent practice. Alone, you're going to read an excerpt from The Awakening by Kate Chopin. First, you're going to choose a scene that contributes to the development of Edna's character. Second, you're going to explain if this scene includes direct characterization, indirect characterization, or both. And finally, how might understanding the value of characterization help you when developing your own characters for a short story? Let me show you where the independent practice is posted. So from Google Classroom, this time you're going to select Classwork. When you select Classwork, you're going to click on Week 5 Independent Practice. When you click on it, it will take you to those questions for submission. At this time, you can pause the video and complete your independent practice. And we're back. Congratulations on completing the independent practice. Now it's time for the last step, which is the formative assessment. You're going to complete this task by yourself and submit. Let me show you where it's posted. From the Google Classroom page, you're going to select Classwork. When you select Classwork, this time you're going to select Week 5 Assessment. When you select this, you're going to receive the assessment questions. You're going to submit by the deadline, and then you're finished. All right, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed teaching you today about direct versus indirect characterization. I look forward to grading your discussions, your independent practice, and your assessment. Please remember to submit by the deadline. Have a good day.